Hi, today we're going to cover the Accu slide override procedure using your flex shaft with the number 3 bit. The flex shaft looks like this here. You can bend it, flex it any way you like. It's got a number 3 bit. This is going to be inserted in the back of your motor or potentially your gearbox if your motor was seized up. That's how you'll override your system in the event you lose power to your coach. These should be in your shipping paperwork. If you don't have one, you can get on our webpage, balrvproducts.com. Search part number P854775. You can order one direct from us if you need one. Here is our trainer mock-up, just showing you what everything looks like without all your header and your fascia boards, covering your standoff brackets and all that stuff. Up top and potentially below the slide, Accu slide can be done in a top mount or a bottom mount format. In this situation, the motor is up top. We have an override hole in the back of the motor. You may end up, if you can't reach over the top of your fascia boards, you may end up having to remove your header fascia or that center block area to gain access to the motor to use the override. So in the event you lost power or maybe the motor just gave out on you, the gearbox is still good, we're going to take a drill, not an impact, and we're going to insert our override shaft, take the number 3 bit, and then the back side of the motor itself, there's going to be a hole. We want to insert that number 3 bit directly into that hole, and then run our drill counterclockwise. We'll run the room back in for you. Clockwise, we'll run it back out. In the event that your motor isn't allowing you to use the override port, maybe the motor itself is seized up, what you can do is remove the 2 3/8 bolts from the motor itself, which are located in between the motor and the gearbox. There's a flex drive shaft and you have 2 3/8 bolts. You'll want to remove those and get your motor out of the way. There's only one way this motor can go back on. So if you are wondering, well, did I get it back in the right holes? It's only going to fit one way. This may be a little tricky here to get into this area. I suggest using a small speed wrench, a little easier to get in there, and then pull back on the motor away from the bracket to apply some pressure so your speed wrench continues to function and operate. And when the motor is disconnected, there will be a flex drive shaft. It may come out with the motor. It's got a square end on each end of it, and it gets inserted directly into the hole for the gearbox. And then when your motor's attached, it engages in the hole in the motor as well. And that's what's tying your motor and gearbox together. So once that's removed, you can set your motor off to the side. You can let it hang there, or you can disconnect it at that point. And now you take your flex override shaft and insert it directly into the hole for the gearbox where the flex override drive shaft is. Same manner. Counterclockwise, runs the room back in. Clockwise, we'll run it room back out. Once your room is all the way in, as long as your gearbox is good and it's allowing it to operate at the gearbox itself in that override function, that's going to hold your room into position. No need to add a room lock or anything like that. In the event that your motor seized and the gearbox is out and it's not allowing you to use the override manual options, the override options, it may be necessary for you to loosen up on your cable adjustments and then remove your rubber grommet disconnect the ball end of the cable from the standoff brackets at all 4 corners, and then go to the exterior and do the same thing. And now you'll be able to shove that room in manually from the outside. Once it's in, now you'll have to put in a room lock or a 2x4 and make sure that that room doesn't move on you during transit, get it to a dealer and have it repaired.